Hello, this link building with RankWyz video covers backlinking your feeds. This is another very popular use case when SEO properties are exposed in the form of one or multiple RSS feeds. It can be your main site, blog, or e-commerce site. It can be a combination of feeds from your tier 1 property like PBN or other properties. That can be a service that exposing the aggregation of your links in a form of feed. Using a feed has definite advantage over plain URL list because you don't need to come over regularly and update the list. Once you create the backlinking process, backlinking your feed, you don't need to make any changes because every URLs, every items from the feed will be retrieved dynamically and backlinked by RankWyz based on your configuration. There are two possible implementations of backlinking your feeds. One is when you need to RankWyz watch your feed, and as soon as it sees new item or URL in the feed, will backlink it a predefined number of times, let's say 10 times. This gives you control on how many times each URL from the feed will be backlinked. Another use case is when you create a feed and you continuously backlink your feeds based on number of posts, and that use case is more better for the case when you want just set up recurrent backlinking of your feeds and you don't want to specify how many times each item will be backlinked. And this video will cover a scenario when you need system backlink every new URL exactly number of times you configure. For this use case, we're going to be using Rss Monitors, and this is the visual diagram of the setup. Well, Rss Monitor is designed to watch your feeds. You enter URL of the feed and Rss Monitor checks it regularly. Once new item is detected found in the feed, it will be sent based on the configuration for automatic submission. So we will be setting up push submission, and specific of push submission that it specifies what type of content will be posted, how to represent the URL, and then you can configure how many times each URL will be backlinked. So combined together, so we have a use case when you set up your feed and you set up your submission that posts specific content, and it's configured to backlink every URL, let's say 10 times. You can spread it over, let's say, a week. So now Rss Monitor, as soon as it finds new URL in the feed, will send it to the submission, and submission will execute it based on the configuration. Backlink this URL 10 times or spread over a week. And these are exact steps we will follow. We will set up a project and Web2 network where we want to backlink our feeds. We will create a link profile and content bucket. That will define the content and how links will be posted on our Web2 network. Then we'll create submission and configure it, what content to use, what link profile to use, and how many times each URL will be backlinked. And the last step, we'll create Rss Monitor and configure it to push every new URL to a submission. To demonstrate the setup, I will be using this existing project. I already have Web2 network inside with several blogs. I also have link profile, molding with 3 primary keywords. We'll keep it simple for the sake of this demo. And the last step, I'll have content bucket on a topic of molding. going back to steps, we already have project and Web2 network. We have a link profile and content bucket. So next step, we need to create a push submission, select bucket and link profile, and how many times every URL will be backlinked. From the project, from the network, Web2 network, we'll go to submissions and create push submission. We'll give it a name, RSS molding. We're gonna use our own content molding, and each URL will be posted. We'll keep it default 3 times. Although for the real case scenario, you probably need to set it up higher, but it will be based on how many blocks you have in your network. Then go into link settings. So we'll specify that links will be embedded using the profile molding. We can keep it by default. That will be random URLs, or you can use one of the templates, let's say resource box, and you can specify different placement, like in the bottom. So we'll keep it default random URL, and click save. Submission is ready and waited for URLs to be posted. And by configuration, every URL will be backlinked 3 times. And the last step is to set up Rss Monitor. Go to Rss Monitor. So you create new monitor, give it a name, enter feed URL. I don't have exact URL, and you specify how many days back to retrieve items from URL. Why you need this? If let's say you have very old established site and you want only start backlinking from, let's say, a week ago or a month ago, this is where you specify. This is one-time setting, because moving forward, system will be checking your feed several times a day and only pull new items that it hasn't seen before, and it will send every URL based on the configuration to your submission. And this is what we select, send successful URL to blogin submission. This is our project molding, network web 2, and submission RSS molding. So this is a configuration. You enter your URL, how many days back, and what submission to send to. And this setup will implement this configuration. Rss Monitor will be watching your feed, and every time new item discovered, it will be sent down to push submission, that you configure it how many times every URL to be backlinked, and you also specify what type of content to post and how to decorate the URL with the link profile. And those are, once again, steps. Set up project and web 2 network, set up link profile and content bucket, create push submission, select bucket link profile and configure how many times every URL to be backlinked, and then create Rss Monitor, configure it to push new URLs to a submission. Thank you for watching, and thank you for using RankWyz.